All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Mingo, and I'm part of the Davidson Institute team. I'm going to be your host for today. We're really excited to be here with you this morning. And so before we dive into this Think Summer Institute information session, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping points so you have an idea of what to expect in this session. First, the session is intended to run for about 60 minutes. The session will include a presentation about the Think Summer Institute, and it will be followed by a Q&A where you can ask questions. We will do our best to address as many questions as we can in the time allotted. We would like to point out that this is in a Zoom webinar setting, so it's set up so our staff can share their video, audio, and screen, but attendees are in view-only mode. Please note that we do have the chat feature of Zoom that will be enabled at various points throughout the session. We do ask that if you have any questions to submit them to the Q&A feature. And then if there's a question that you'd like answered from others that you see, you can upvote, which is a little thumbs up saying, hey, I really want to know the answer to this question. You can also comment on existing questions. So if you're interested in learning more about that topic, or if it's even your own question, you want to add more context to it, you can comment on questions as well. We ask that you stay through to the end of the session. You'll then be directed to our post-event survey to help us gather feedback on your experience. And we will have a recording of this live session available on the Davidson Gifted website within a week. So now diving into the session, I am pleased to introduce you to our Director of Summer Programs, Kayla Lattin. Kayla, I'll pass this off to you.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And there we go. All right. So I just wanted to say thank you again, Jessica, and welcome for everyone who's joined us this morning. I'm really excited that you're here and to share more about the 2023 Think Summer Institute. And while we're waiting for people to join, we'll just start with a few quick polls. So the first one, Jessica's going to open for us, and it is asking if you're a student that is potentially interested in attending Think, have they ever attended a residential summer program overnight before? Yes or no. And this is just helpful for us to know just kind of our audience today and who has that camp experience coming into this program potentially or not. We'll just give it a few minutes for everyone to answer, and we'll close it out and see what our results look like. Now that we're in post-pandemic camp world, hopefully some students were able to get back to camp this past summer. And if not, looking forward to attending camp this summer in 2023. All right, it looks like majority here have not, their student has not attended camp before, about 64%, with 36 saying yes. So wonderful. We'll move on. We have two more quick ones. Just to learn more about who's here, the age of your student who is potentially going to attend camp this summer will be either under 13 or 12 and under, 14, 15, 16, or over 16. And these are the ages, 13 through 16 are the ages of Think, and I'll talk a little bit more about eligibility here in a bit. And maybe we do have some families who are curious for Think in future years, or for their student who's under 13. Or maybe you have an older student and you're unaware that our eligibility does stop at 16, but just kind of wanting to gather who's here. Have been fighting a cold, and so I apologize if I sound a little raspy today. Okay, looks like the majority right in kind of the middle at 14 years old, 28%, and then we have a number around 13, 14, and some at 16 as well, 15 and 16. Awesome. Okay, and our last poll, I would love to hear what you're interested in learning the most about today. So we're going to actually be covering all of these topics. Um, and my hope is to get through the presentation to share more about Think and provide that helpful information, but I'd also want to spend a good amount of time for the Q&A portion because there's a lot of you here and we had a lot of Q&A questions last year. And so it would be helpful to know where I can maybe spend more time today for my presentation. We are going to hit all of these topics though. We'll wrap that up. Okay. Looks like a lot of people are looking to learn more about our courses at Think and our academics, student life, and the schedule. And then, of course, a lot of people are looking to learn more about eligibility, application process, and highlighted changes for 2023. Wonderful. All right. Well, we will dive in and get started. Let me just get my mouse situated here. Okay, so I wanted to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Kayla, and I am the director of our summer programs department here at Davidson. And I just hit 9 years since I started at Davidson this month, and this upcoming summer will be my 10th summer with Davidson. And so I'm really excited for this upcoming year. It was so great to be back at camp in person this past summer, and camp is just a really big passion of mine, and I really value all the benefits that it brings to our students. And so I enjoy this part of my job and to be able to provide these experiences for especially this unique population. And of course, here today, we also have Avery. Avery's behind the scenes, and she's going to be help answering a lot of our Q&A questions, typing as she can so that I can get to as many as I can live as well. And Avery is often the person you'll be speaking to if you email or call our department. And she's processing our applications and doing so much behind the scenes this year. And she's been with us in a couple different roles with Davidson, but she is especially passionate about summer programs, and that's where she started back as a program assistant or camp counselor a number of years ago. And now she's been working with us full time for a little over a year now, and we're just really enjoying having her here. So Avery is here as well. Our contact information is at the bottom there. It's also at the end of the presentation and on our website. Okay, so like I said, we're going to go through all of these topics today. Here's the order I'm going through, starting with a little bit more about Think and eligibility to apply, more about our staff, the schedule, academics. We'll go into a little bit about health and wellness, how you can prepare for Think, highlighted changes, and then we'll touch on the application process at the end, right before Q&A. Okay, Think. Think is our longest standing summer program. It started back in 2004, even before we opened our Davidson Academy School in 2006. And just like all of our summer programs, we are located on the University of Nevada, Reno campus here in Reno, Nevada. So all of our summer camp students come from all across the country, fly into Reno, and attend our camp on our campus. Think is for students 13 to 16 during program dates. It's 3 weeks long. That's kind of always a fun part to point out because usually by the end of Think, a lot are asking, can next year, can it be 4 weeks long? And we're usually, it's the end of our summer season. So we're like, no, it's too, like, we can't do another week, but it is a cool program. 3 weeks sounds like a long time to some and short to others. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that for eligibility and prepping for Think. This year, I'll talk a little bit more about this change, but we have moved to a single course enrollment at Think, and that's one of the biggest pieces of students coming to Think is to take a college course. And this year we have options of 3 or 4 credit class options. And this year's dates are Saturday, July 8th through Saturday, July 29th. Okay, to be eligible for Think, the first thing, we don't do eligibility based off of school grade because our students are often in numerous different grades asynchronously. They're grade accelerated, whether they're subject accelerated or full grade accelerated. And so we don't do grade level eligibility, we do age range. And so students need to be 13 to 16 during the program dates. Now, if your student's turning 13 during July, during the program dates. So they're 12 coming in and they'll turn 13 during Think. They are welcome to apply. It doesn't make them ineligible, and we can review their application and determine if they're ready and eligible just like everyone else. And then same thing, if they're 16, turning 17 during program dates, they would be eligible to apply as well. All right, and then a couple other things. All students coming in to Think must be U.S. citizens or permanent residents of the U.S. We do require SAT or ACT score reports for eligibility admissions to Think. If your student is a Young Scholar, a Davidson Young Scholar, or a Davidson Academy Reno or online campus student, that is waived. We also require all new applicants to have, whether you're a Davidson affiliate or not, they must have one positive nomination by an educator. And we're not super strict with this. We know that a lot of students are in unique education environments. And so if you're struggling finding an educator who can nominate your student, please email us and we can work with you to get some ideas going on other options. And lastly, there is no option to attend Think as a day camp or for part of the program only and not come in late or leave early. You have to attend the full program to be able to come to Think and finish successfully. Some of the benefits of Think that I always am really excited about, since it's our longest program, we really get to know these students really well in the summer. And so I really like talking about the benefits because I get to see them just like our other camps, but like really see them play out over the 3 weeks. But students are coming from all across the country who are also eager to attend Think and the courses. And so they're in an environment with like-minded peers. There's lots of skill building and independence building at Think. They have to do their own laundry. Yes, we will help them in the beginning if they need it. There's life skills like that are being built when they're away from home, but also a lot of study and executive functioning skills that can be built at Think. They build self-confidence when they learn how to advocate for themselves in talking with their instructors. They experience living on a college campus because we stay in the dorms and we have classes out on campus in the buildings, and we walk and do activities on campus throughout the week and weekends. And it's a challenging program, and so that is often exciting for students who maybe aren't challenged in their school environments back home. And most importantly, it's still summer camp, and so we have fun and we do camp social activities and go on field trips as well. So, all right, I'll share a little bit more about other parts of our staff besides Avery and I. And we have a number of seasonal staff that we hire every year. It's quite the process to get everyone rehired or new hires for the summer, but it's really exciting every year to see who's going to be helping us lead and run these programs. Our biggest team that we hire is the program assistants or PAs, and those are our camp counselors. So they're living with the students on our dorm floor. They're supervising them 24/7. They're helping take students to and from certain activities and also playing and leading activities, and just really like their go-to mentor, almost camp counselor type of person for students at Think. We also have health supervisors who help us pass out medications every day and check in with students who are having any kind of illness symptoms or injuries or things like that. And they're just really awesome to take that from us, and they're licensed RNs, so they know what they're doing, and just provide a really wonderful, fun comfort environment to our program as well. And then, of course, we also hire our instructors. So I do not teach at Think, and neither does Avery. We hire University of Nevada, Reno professors to teach our academics. And it's really fun getting to come up with the course options every summer because we vary those as well. We are members of the American Camp Association, and we use a lot of their resources to develop our policies and standards. We attend the National American Camp Association Conference every year. We'll be heading there next month in February. And so we do a lot of continuous learning and professional development with them. Okay, so a little bit more about what it's like at Think during the week and weekends for students. So the arrival weekend, the first weekend that students show up, the main day is encompassed with traveling to Think. It often takes a long time to get to Think depending on where students are from. And so they're traveling, checking in. I wanted to point one out. One of the other new changes this year is that we are no longer providing a shuttle service or airport supervision. So students must be checked in and out by a parent guardian at Think. And if you're unable to bring your student yourself, we do have the option. You can designate an adult over the age of 25 to travel and bring your student and check them in. There's also the options that you can connect with other incoming Think parents and kind of carpool in a sense, like, oh, can you help check my student in and then I'll help pick them up or things like that. And we can talk more about if anybody has concerns, but everyone must be checked in and out by a parent, guardian, or adult. So the rest of the evening is spent setting up their dorms and unpacking, and we do a huge program orientation and tour of the campus. It's actually like more of a game activity for the tour, but it's a really fun evening, just getting everyone to know what the program rules are, how it's going to function over the next 3 weeks. They get to see the sites and where they're going to be spending the next 3 weeks, get to know each other. We have lots of icebreaker team building, fun activities that we do. And then on Sunday, the biggest part of that, the next day after they're checked in, we do course orientations. So they get to meet their instructor, go through the syllabus, and get all their materials. So then we pass out their textbooks and their class materials and get them all set up and start studying for the first day of class. This is kind of what a weekday looks like at Think. During the 3 weeks, the Monday through Friday is a lot of just focusing on their class and their academics. And so in the morning, we pushed the schedule a little bit this year by about a half an hour so that students have more time to sleep in the morning. So breakfast is not until 8 now. And so they have about an hour to eat breakfast and head over to class. It's all pretty close walking distance, usually within 5 to 12 minutes from the dining hall to walk to class. And our program assistants walk with them to and from class, and they actually sit in class with the students as well. Then they'll have their morning course. It's 3 hours long from 9 to 12. And they do get a break and a snack during morning course. And then after lunch, they have a dorm like break reset time where they can take a nap, take a shower, work on homework, just take a break where they're not in class. And then if they are in a 4-credit class this year, they will be in lab time in the afternoon from approximately 2:30 to 5:30. We're still nailing down that time. And it might not be every day that they're in that, so Monday through Thursday likely. And then if they're in a 3-credit class, this will be purposeful study group homework time, either in the Davidson Academy building or in the campus library. And so then we'll move on to dinner. Every day after dinner, we have a floor meeting where everyone gets together and we make program announcements, we play a game, and then share the plan for the evening. And then during the weekdays, most of the evenings are spent doing homework studying. We have a really beautiful fitness center on campus that students are a member of, and so they can go and work out. And we often play fun games as well. So I kind of have a sample weeknight. They can go to the bookstore. There's a thing called Watermelon on the Quad. The Quad is our beautiful grass area, and they have live concerts in the summer. The university does, and so they have a break time where they can take a break from setting and go take a group to that. And then Friday nights and the weekends, we have student voted, really fun, like curated activities that we plan, such as movie night, board game night, things like that, that are staff run. On the weekends, we've been back and forth with this a little bit. We're not sure how the dining hall is going to work this year. Often, almost all past years, I think it's been a continental breakfast because they don't open until brunch at 11:30. They did open for a true breakfast for us this past summer, but the dining hall was in a different location. So we're not sure what that'll look like for this year, but typically it is a continental breakfast. And then depending on whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday will depend, and which field trip we have will depend what time we're doing what, but usually it's a independent study time, a curated activity, or a field trip before and after lunch, dinner, and then same thing, lots of time to keep studying or join in on some really fun on-campus activities. Our two off-campus field trips this year are Lake Tahoe. So we take a chartered buses up to North Lake Tahoe. It's beautiful. It's only about a 40-minute drive from campus, and it's an alpine lake here right next to Reno, and it's beautiful up there. And so we have a private beach that we actually get to access, where there's a pool and snack bar, and then of course the beach and the lake. And so it's a really great time for students to just take a true break and enjoy the beautiful mountain lake of Lake Tahoe with us. We also have a downtown day the following weekend where students can go do some rock climbing at, it overlooks the Reno Arch, which is really cool. Go to one of our really neat Sundance bookstores and a coffee shop, or attend the Nevada Museum of Art. Opposite of study time, we'll do some of those voted activities, such as water games during the day when it's really hot in July. Sometimes there's a talent show or minute to win it games, things like that. Okay, where do students stay on campus? Well, we stay in the dorm halls, and this year we will be back in Argenta Hall. It just reopened and it's newly renovated and it's beautiful. And so we're really excited to be back in Argenta Hall because it's also connected to the dining hall, and it just makes it so much easier for our students to get to and from our meals. Students bring their own linens. They'll have about 2 roommates, and they'll be sharing the bathroom and shared space with their roommates, but the bathroom does have a door where they can close and have some privacy time for that. Each room has the beds, desks, and a dresser. And on our floor, we have a whole floor to ourselves and our staff. There's also like a common room gathering area, study rooms. Our program assistants live and sleep on the floor as well in their own private rooms. We have our health supervisor has a nurse room, and then we also have a staff room where it's kind of like our command room. So our admin staff are also checking in, and they're on the dorm floor throughout the day. Okay, dining. So because the Argenta Hall and Down Under Cafe just was newly renovated, we're really excited to be back there this summer as well. The picture on the bottom, it's not super big, but it's a snapshot from the newly renovated dining space, and it's beautiful. There's lots of new options that we've never had in our residential dining hall, and most of it's all buffet style though, and students can go pick what they want. There's so many different options, from comfort foods, Italian food, Asian food, salad bars. In the breakfast morning, they have cereal bars, all kinds of different things. And so we've we have students with food allergies that attend every year, but we almost always successfully have them attend, and they work with our staff and our executive chef of the dining hall to make sure that students with food allergies have plenty of options available to them. We also provide snacks during the day, and students are welcome and encouraged to bring their own snacks for their dorm room, and we just ask that students would avoid nuts due to severe nut allergies. Sometimes we do offer students, depending on campus construction and what's going on around campus, we do sometimes let them, if they have spending money and they want to attend like a sub shop, or there's a couple different little taco shops or different things that aren't not the dining hall, like that are close by on campus that are within a 5-minute walk. And so we let them go and use their spending money for a meal once or twice during the program to get a little bit of a change of pace. And they can also buy snacks at our Wolf Shop bookstore on campus. Okay, academics. New this year, like I said, we're going to do a single course enrollment. And so I want to talk a little bit more about what that looks like. The courses are actual University of Nevada, Reno courses. So students are actually, we go through the admission process and process all of the applications for Think, but we send all of the information to UNR, and they enroll students as non-degree seeking students. So they become university students for the summer. They get to take these classes, and so they're actually set up in our course catalog, but other university students can't attend them. It's just private for our Think students only. The classrooms are throughout campus, so that's really fun that they don't just get stuck in the Davidson Academy building all 3 weeks. They get to walk to their classes on campus. The credit is real, and so you'll receive a University of Nevada, Reno transcript at the end with the credit on that. And so we always get questions about how that works and how transferring credits works, and it's same as if your student took a college course from their local community college. It's the same thing. So you'll have the transcript and you're welcome to do with it what you please. So if you'd like to go back to your high school and advocate for your Think college credit to be counted towards whatever high school credit would be applicable, you'd have to work directly with your high school to do so and whether they would accept that or not. And then same thing moving forward, applying to college in the future, your student would submit that transcript to your college in the future, and they would determine whether that could be transferred or not. But we pick courses that are intro level, somewhat slightly above intro level, but depends on the prerequisites, but we purposely pick courses that would be highly transferable to other accredited 4-year universities as well. And so for the single course enrollment, we're really excited about this change because it allows for us to have a 4-credit class option. So we have 3 4-credit class options this year, and they all have a lab portion. So with doing 2 classes, we would never be able to do that because there wouldn't be time for lab when we have 2 classes in the morning and afternoon. So everyone's attending class in the morning, and then those 4-credit lab students are attending lab in the afternoon. But it also opens space for 3-credit classes. We have 2 of those this year options to work on like really diving deep into study groups and purposeful homework time, and to work on those executive functioning skills like organization, time management, getting your homework done, building those skills so that they can take that back and implement those in their school year and studies in the future. And so this is a really exciting endeavor and change for Think to move to the single course enrollment, and the benefits we're really excited to see play out this year. So how does it work? We have 5 options. Like I said, 3 options are 4 credits and 2 options are 3 credits. That's a mouthful. And how it works is you can only take 1. So you rank your preferences in the application. So 1 through 5, 1 being your first choice course, 5 being your last choice course. You'll rank those in the application, but placement is first come, first serve. So we highly recommend applying sooner than later. And if your first choice class is full, you would then go on a wait list for that class and you would be placed into your second choice or third choice and so on class. And if a spot opened up in the class you're in a wait list on, you would then be moved into that class and we would check in with you via email first to make sure you want to make that change, or are you maybe excited and happy with whatever you were first placed in. You must meet the prerequisite requirements. So we do actually send that information to UNR and they need that in order to enroll the student in the class. And so if you do not meet the prerequisite requirements, unfortunately, you're not eligible to take that class. 2 of our classes have prerequisites this year, and I'll talk a little bit more about them next. Okay, so here's our 5 class options this year. They're on our website. This is a screenshot from our website, but I will quickly go through them. First is Anthropology 102 and 110L. They're co-requisite classes. 102 is our 3-credit portion and 110L is our lab 1-credit portion. All together make a 4-credit class. And this does not have prerequisites. This is a new class to our docket for Think enrollment, and so we're really excited about this class this year. Next is History 208 with Dr. Ned Schoolman. He has taught at Think for a long time and he is always highly rated. He's really fun and engaging in the class, and I don't think I've ever heard of a student not enjoying his class. He's an awesome instructor. This is only 3 credits though, so students in the afternoon will be studying in the library, studying in study groups, working on those skills, and it really frees up their evening time to go to the gym and like hang out with their friends and if they're doing their homework in the afternoon. Next is Chemistry 121A and 121L. So 121A is a 3-credit lecture portion and 121L is our 1-credit lab that their co-requisites together make a 4-credit class. This does have a prerequisite of pre-calculus, and so that must be completed by May 15th. If you're currently enrolled, please email us to see if you'll be able to submit your transcript to us in time to make you eligible for this class. So if you've previously taken pre-calc, we just need your transcript showing that you've completed it with a letter grade or credit. If you're currently enrolled, email us so we can make sure that you'll get your transcript in time. There's sometimes flexibility with May 15th deadline, but it really just depends on the university each year. Students are also highly strongly recommended to have some general high school chemistry experience coming in. This is going to be a hard class, really exciting class to have this really true STEM class with the lab at Think. Elizabeth Walenta is an actual Davidson Academy instructor, but she teaches Chemistry 121 A and L for the university and has for the past 20 years. So she has lots of experience with this class, but it's going to be challenging and intense, but really exciting. And so it is recommended that you have chemistry experience coming in and you're comfortable with chemistry and also the lab environment. Next, we have Geography 121. This is a 4-credit class together with lab as well. Dr. Gia Feng is returning from last summer, and he was really great. A lot of students liked his approach to the classroom and was really engaging, and he's excited to teach this class as well. And then lastly, we have Math 176, and this is pre-calculus with not pre-calculus, excuse me, calculus with a prerequisite of Algebra 2 by May 15th. Again, we're a little flexible on that, so if you're currently enrolled in Algebra 2, email us and we can determine if you'll be able to submit your transcript in time to be eligible. But Dr. Darren Ripley has been around way even longer than I have, or some of our co-executive directors for the Think program. He's been teaching forever, and he is always highly rated as well, and really awesome, fun, and engaging instructor. So those are our 5-credit options that you'll be able to rank in the application. So as I mentioned, the academics are really fast-paced and rigorous. It's really important for eligibility that your student is working on good time management skills. this is really a student-led program. So they're going to come in, they're going to go to class in the morning, and then it's up to them to make sure they're doing their homework and studying. So we have our staff actually are highly trained in checking in on the students and keeping pace of where everyone's doing in their academics. And so we make a point to guide students and check in with them a lot, but we're also not here to handhold. And so we can't force somebody to do their homework. So we need to make sure we have good time management skills and organization skills. Those are really key in being successful at Think. And students will be and can communicate directly with their instructors through like the online portal that all universities use. We have one as well. And so they can connect with their instructors that way or via email, however the instructor prefers. But if they're running behind or confused on questions or need help, they're going to be encouraged and should be communicating with their instructor through those processes. And then of course, just like typically when you send your student off to college, you're not really talking with their instructors. The students is when they're turning 18 and off in college. We try to model the similar setup here at Think. And so parents should be connecting with Think staff if they have questions or concerns about their students' academics at Think. And we also do the same back. So we will connect with parents directly if we're finding a student struggling, whether that's behaviorally or academically. No news is good news in this case, but we do reach out as needed, and all of that communication about academics with parents should be going through Think staff and not with the instructors directly. Okay, health and wellness. Pre-program, how we set up and get ready for all of our students at Think to join us. We collect a really in-depth health history record and form, and we just encourage families that they provide as much information as they can on these because it helps our nurses get ready for who's coming into camp. All students must be insured, and so we request a copy of insurance card. They need a recent physical exam within the past 2 years. Immunization records, we collect those as well. And any medication information is really important that we have prior to their arrival at camp. All of this information is reviewed by our health supervisor, and she reaches out to families as needed prior to camp to make sure there aren't any questions and that we can care appropriately for your student. And just know that immunization records, we follow the Nevada Department of Education and Washoe County School District immunization requirements. And so that is linked on our website in our medical care page and our communicable disease plan page. This year, we are not requiring the COVID-19 vaccine. However, it is highly encouraged that your student is vaccinated, including boosters when eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine, but it is not required this year. However, please keep in mind we are staying on university campus. We have a contract with the university for this program, and because we're staying in the dorm hall and staying on campus, we are subject to their policies and protocols. So if they are enforcing any changes on us, that would then also be implemented for Think. During the program, all students are screened upon check-in for a health screening with our health supervisor, and she collects all of our medications, and they're all locked in our nurse room. The exception, including vitamins, over-the-counter medications, everything has to be locked in our health supervisor room. Exceptions would include inhalers, EpiPens, things like that for rescue medication. Health supervisors are on site daily to administer medications, morning, evening, lunch, whenever needed, and to address any student concerns. But they also have access to the UNR Student Health Center because they're non-degree seeking students. And then we also have a daily option to go and check out our fitness center and work out. They have access to almost the whole area of the fitness center, except for some of the strength areas due to their age. Again, during the program, we're subject to any of UNR's policies and protocols for testing entrance to the dorm hall for COVID-19 if that becomes a requirement. Currently it is not, but that's always subject to change. And then, if any other changes come up that they implement, that would also be given during Think as well. Okay, how can you prepare for Think? So one of the best places to check out and to prepare for Think is the parent resources page. When you click into davidsongifted.org into summer programs, it's like a big blue bar right at the bottom, but Avery's also going to send it in the chat so that you can check out this area, but it has like everything you need to know about Davidson summer programs here that isn't specific to just our 3 camp Stars, Reach, and Think. So the getting ready area, health and medical care is really important area to check out. We don't have the 2023 program handbook ready quite yet, but it's pretty similar to 2022 with some changes in there, but that'll be ready soon. Our travel page is there, and that goes into more detail about our travel requirements and check-in and check-out times for this year. And then the packing list will be posted here when it's ready as well in the next month or two. And then the policy section. This is really important. Make sure you know what your student is going to be, the policies they're going to be under while they're at camp and coming prior to camp. And so it explains more about what supervision looks like, our communicable illness plan and policies. That's a really important area to check out. We actually created this prior to the COVID-19 pandemic when measles was breaking out across the country in different areas. And so any communicable illness plan will be falling under this plan and policy now, including COVID-19 falls under that. So vaccine preventable disease policy is in there. And then what we do if there is communicable illness going around at camp, how that looks and what our protocols are. Electronic device policy. So I'm not going to touch too much on this, but students at Think can only have their cell phones in the dorm hall. They cannot take them to class or to activities out on campus. And this just is a really important tool for us to provide that space to focus on classes, but also to be social and connect. Because if your head's at your phone, you're not connecting with one another. And then how we communicate with parents, or parents can communicate with us. There's the communication section as well. So some things to keep in mind if Think is a good fit. Well, it's 3 weeks long. So if your student has never attended summer camp before, it doesn't make them ineligible or not a good fit necessarily, but it's something to consider. 3 weeks long is quite a long time to be away from home and from parents. And so it is a quite long program for a first true overnight summer camp experience away from home. However, that doesn't mean your student isn't necessarily ready for it if they've never gone to summer camp. It's just something to keep in mind and to have a conversation about. They will be sharing a room with other participants. There's no room on the dorm floor for anybody to have a single room. So they're going to, since we're back in Argenta Hall, the rooms are triple occupancy. And so there'll be 3 students within a room sharing a bathroom. We do roommate contracts and agreements, and we are working with students, checking in, debriefing with them all day, every day. And so if there's any roommate issues that come up, we're there to work with students through that process. But it's just something to keep in mind for your student, and knowing that the experience they're going to have. Keeping in mind that technology and cell phone policy, if that's going to be something that they're not able to abide by, then maybe Think isn't the best fit. That's a really important policy that we have to keep students focused and connecting with one another. Another thing is the schedule actually probably could allow for way more than 8 hours of sleep at night, but if you know your teenager, they probably won't be eager to just jump in bed at night and get that full rest. So we actually do have lights out at about 10:30 each night during the week, and then we do allow them to be in bed a little bit later on the weekends. However, they're excited and they're making friends, and they're away from mom and dad and it's summer camp. And so sometimes sleep gets a little bit lost in the mix. However, we're really hoping having one class and only focusing on one this year and having more time for homework will avoid pushing homework into late hours of the night. And so that's another thing to keep in mind, that your student needs to be on top of their homework so that they're able to get their rest at night. And then also they, of course, need to be following our policies and protocols and follow direction from our staff, which is really important if we're going to be spending 3 weeks together. Things you can do to help prepare is to practice good homework and study habits. That's key, I think. And so I didn't really mention this before, but I meant to, that it's a 3-week program. So it's about what like a mini session of a university course is. And so 1 day of class is about 1 week of instruction in a normal college semester. So it's very fast paced and rigorous. And so if your student doesn't have good homework and study habits, start practicing now to lead up to think, because building those skills will only benefit them. Then please review the website and handbook together, although the parent resources section. The more your student knows about how Think works and what they're going to be doing throughout the 3 weeks when they come, the more prepared they're going to be and not feel so lost when they show up to camp. Another point is really important, is to show confidence in your student's ability and to share consistent and positive messages about camp. If you're nervous, they're going to pick up on that. And so if you're not speaking positively about them being away or being at camp, that's because you're nervous or you have questions or things like that, they're going to pick up on that. And so the more positive you can be and the more confident you can be, that sends huge messages to your students. And then I know it sounds silly and simple, but it makes a big difference when you include your student in packing their things and preparing for camp. They should know what is in their bag so they can know what they're needing to come home with. They can be a part of the process. It helps them build confidence when they're, oh, okay, deciding what snacks should I bring, or it's going to be hot and all day and dry, and so I need extra chapstick and a really nice water bottle. Things like that will really help them feel confident coming into being away from home. Okay, just to reiterate that really the 2023 summer season will look really similar to 22 with the following 2 exceptions. Think is no longer a dual course enrollment program. We are now single course enrollment with 3 credit or 4 credit class options. I'm really excited and confident with all 5 class options this year, and think your student will have a great time no matter which class they're in. They'll be challenged and engaged. And then lastly, the travel changes. So we no longer provide shuttle or airport supervision, and students cannot just Uber from the airport to check in. They have to be brought by a parent guardian or designated adult over the age of 25. And we're working on some ideas to get Think parents connected with one another once they're accepted, to communicate if you do want to sync up with other parents to help with the check-in process. You can designate another parent to check your student in if you're unable to travel with them. But that all has to be done prior to July. Okay, lastly, admissions. What does this look like? Well, the application is now open, and I was a little delayed this morning getting that open. I apologize. So if you did try to find that on the website this morning, right before our webinar, I opened it. So it's now open, and so please go check it out. Avery's going to send the admissions link in the chat box, and the online application is now linked within the admissions page. And placement is first come, first serve. So if you are highly interested in only one course and not open to being placed in a second or third choice course because they're full, then apply sooner than later. The deadline is March 31st. So if your student's waiting on SAT or ACT scores, you do have some time. There is a March SAT date that would get the test scores in time for an application as well. But please email us if you have any concerns about testing. But really, the three main areas are you're going to prep your materials. I highly recommend doing that before you get into the online application. Then that way, when you click in there, you can have smooth sailing and submit your items. You'll submit the online application with a parent. They do have to be a part of that process. And then at the end, you upload your application documents and materials, and we email your recommender, and they have to submit that before you're complete. An application fee of $50 is also collected during the application. So just wanted to point out again, those three things. First, you're going to prep your materials. You're going to apply online. So prepping your materials look like gathering your SAT or ACT score report, pre-completing your essays in one document, because you can only upload one document in each item, your school transcript and making sure that that shows your prerequisite information if your course preference requires a prerequisite. If you have to combine PDFs to show your current school record and a past Algebra 2 or pre-calc class, please do that. And if you are unable to combine PDFs, email us and we can do that for you. And then once you apply online, you're going to upload your application materials. And I kind of want to show you what that looks like because it can be a little tricky to look at. So once you have submitted your online application, it'll kind of look like this. It'll say application submitted. Thank you for completing. We'll be in touch soon. And you're going to want to hit this button, My Account menu. If you forget to hit that button, we do have the My Account portal linked on the website, and you can log back in and go to the Forms and Documents section there. Once you get to the Forms and Documents section by hitting My Account and then into Forms and Documents or logging in from the website, you're going to see a number of forms that are already listed for your student, even though they just applied. And so you'll notice each form has a More Info button. Please click that for instructions if you're confused on what we're asking for in each form or who the form is for, whether that's waived for a YS or DA student or not. And then how you're going to upload, you're going to click the upload button on the right, the little arrow. Okay, that wraps up my presentation. I have some contact information on the screen here. So we do send out a newsletter. You can subscribe to that on our website with updates. I'm going to be sending out one later today about Think Being Open. And there's our phone number and our email address. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. A reminder for the 2023 dates is on there. So I'm going to jump into the Q&A now. Avery's going to try and reply to as many of you as she can via typing. So if you're unsure if your question's already been answered or not, open that Q&A box and look. And then, of course, there's a lot of you here. And so if I'm not able to get to your question, please email us or give us a phone call. We are happy to connect with you and answer. We want to answer your questions. So I'm going to get through as many as I can today, but if we don't get to your question or you need more clarification, then please email us. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first one I'm seeing here is, do you accept a pre-ACT score? So I'm guessing maybe you mean something like the practice SAT. So typically no, because these are college courses, we really do need an SAT or an ACT score report. That information is shared with UNR as well. And so we're held to a certain standard with that. There's not a score minimum, but we do have to have some transparency with the university. And so however, knowing that we have a number of students with a score waive for YS or DA students, we can work with families who are struggling to access an SAT or ACT score. I know that last year we had a lot of struggle with things closing because of COVID, and so hopefully this year we won't have that issue as much. But due to age restraints and things like that, please email us and we can look at if you do have a past IQ or achievement test. We can see if that's something that would work for an application to think. In some cases, maybe practice SAT score, but preferable for eligibility readiness for our team to review. We're really looking for that SAT or ACT score. Okay. What supports are available to neurodivergent kids? This is a great question. We have neurodivergent, that's our whole population of students coming. Most all students are either at that profoundly gifted or highly gifted level, and they're really excited coming in to think. They're all looking forward to a challenging academic rigorous program. However, we have students with all kinds of backgrounds. Maybe they're twice exceptional or 2E, and we have lots of support. So Think is built for students like this, and the program assistants and staff are checking in during academics in the classroom and in the evenings. That's why we have them attend class so that they can be aware of what's due or who's struggling and check in. We are in constant connection with those students to build a plan of like, okay, what's not working, what's working well, what can we support you with? And then Avery and I speak to parents quite often to, share, maybe some of the things we're seeing going on with your student and to ask for ideas of what works well back at home. We also have students attend with IEP or 504 plans every year, and the university instructors are really good at following that to provide as similar as accommodations as they can in their classes as well. If you have a more specific support that you're curious that we can provide or you're unsure about, please email us and we're happy to connect with you on what kind of support you're curious if we're able to offer, or if your student requires, we can chat about that. Okay. Would it be possible to know food choices available to students? This is a great question. The Nevada Dining website does post their menu each week. I don't know how far out they'll have their summer menu available. Sometimes it's only available like a week or two prior. So you're welcome to check out the Nevada Dining website. But if you go to unr.edu and you type in Nevada Dining, you'll be able to get to that area and go to the Down Under Cafe. And they have a list of all their like sections within so they have like a falafel area, they have a pizza area, they have a comfort food area, a salad bar, an Asian food area. They have like usually they have all, the list goes on, and each meal will look a little bit different. So if it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, different sections of the dining hall will be available with different foods, and they vary it each day. So it's a huge dining space. So if you're looking for specifics, the website will provide you more information, the UNR website. But if you have questions further than that about food allergies or things like that, please reach out and we can chat with you. Okay. If students get college course credit from Think, do they still need to take similar AP class in high school? Example, AP World History or similar college GE course when they are in college? That's a great question. So that's up to you. Some students will go and take a class at Think and take an AP class back at home. However, that potentially could be unnecessary because you can use your actual UNR credit transcript to go back to your high school and say, hey, my student took this world history class, an actual college level class, can that count towards their high school transcript so they do not have to take AP world history or whatever at their high school. And so you're welcome to do that. It's not requirement. It's whatever you'd like to do with this credit. The University of Nevada, Reno is an accredited university, and you're welcome to look at their website to learn more about their accreditation, just like other 4-year level universities. So these courses are run through University Nevada, Reno by UNR professors, and so the accreditation comes from the university. And so yeah, you're welcome to repeat it. It would be pretty repetitive. However, it's kind of up to the student and what experience they're looking for. Okay. Oh, this is a great question. Are there any protocols for when wildfires are nearby or when there is smoke in the atmosphere? We don't necessarily have like a written protocol on our website, but we do have policies and protocols in place for this because it really is something that could be a possibility each summer. However, we have lots of summers with no smoke and we have some summers with lots of smoke, unfortunately, here in the Reno, Nevada area. Lots of the California nearby forests will the smoke just blows right over our mountains and into our valley. But we do have protocols. So we limit the amount of time spent outside or, activities and things like that. We like go to different plan Bs for field trips and activities when that happens. So that's something we closely watch. We work with our health supervisor to make sure smoke in the atmosphere is at a healthy level for outdoor activity. And we kind of go from there. And so it's really subject to change every year. And then within the program, it could be drastically different from day to day because of the wind blowing it out. So if you have more questions about how we handle that, please email and I'm happy to touch more on that. But yes, we do have some protocols in place for that. Thankfully, our fitness center is beautiful and all indoors for that as well. Okay, is there a dress code? Yes, we do have a dress code. It's you can look at the 2022 handbook to find that. It's not really changing for 2023, so you're welcome to access the 2022 handbook linked on our website. But we do kind of your typical school dress code. Like we don't want, we provide a list of number of items in that, but things would like no profanity or things like that on your writing on your clothing. It needs to be covering your body appropriately for a school setting and things like that. So all of that it can be found in our handbook. What are the protocols if a student encounters bullying? How are conflicts between students resolved? That's a really great question. We do have a code of conduct and a core values, I think, that we go heavily in depth in student orientation about. And so students are expected to not, be bullying. It's almost like a zero tolerance policy in some sense. And so, yeah, that's something that we go through student orientation. We like to have a kind, welcoming, inclusive environment, I think. And that's a huge part of our student orientation is kind of going why that is a policy and a protocol and what our hope and gain for students at the program is. And so we handle all of this on a case-by-case basis if it comes up. It's really all subject to what the situation looks like. But because our staff are 24/7 supervising and checking in with students, we're always really involved in knowing if there is an issue going on and it's tackled head on in the moment and with parents included as appropriate as well. Okay, what is the exception rate range of think? This is a great question. We don't have like a percentage to share necessarily, but most students who are interested in think are eligible and ready and meet our goodness of fit level as well. So there's not a lot of ineligible students who are at the application process. Usually students who are not quite ready for this program experience are not applying, or maybe if they're not interested in a 3-week academic summer camp as well. So most that are applying are accepted. There are some instances where there might be a student not quite ready or at the ability level, but most students who are applying are accepted. Okay. Do we need a transcript for Algebra 2? Yes. Could another certificate quantum physics from Udemy? I'm not sure necessarily quite familiar with what that looks like. So if you can email what that certificate entails, let me know. But typically the university needs Algebra 2, like an accredited Algebra 2 class have completed. And this is only to benefit your student. They're going to do and be successful in the class that requires that prereq if they have it. So it's important for your student to meet that to be eligible. Is Elizabeth Valenta the one who taught Taylor Wilson, the boy who played with Fusion? I'm actually not sure if my guess is yes, because she's been at the David's Academy forever and was a teacher when he was there. So I'm not sure how much she was involved with Taylor Wilson. I know he did a lot of work with you and our professors, I believe, as well. So, but yeah, she's been around Davidson Academy and profoundly gifted students for a really long time. And we're really excited to have her at Think for chemistry this year. Okay, I have a few more I'm just going to touch on so that we can wrap up here in just a minute. If I have already taken AP chemistry, which at my school is equivalent to general chemistry, will I learn new skills in the general chemistry course at Think? That's a great question. I can ask our instructor what her thoughts are on this. I'm not sure how much AP chemistry meets with Chemistry 121 and if there'll be new skills or not. My guess is yes, there would be new skills, but I can ask her that directly. So if you want to email, we can connect further on this. There will be tentative syllabi ready for people to review on the website later this month. So that might be helpful in determining if it's the same or not. If a student took algebra but did not do well, will they still be considered? They can still be considered, of course. We would review that application and that key component for eligibility for math on a case-by-case basis like we do with every application. So we really look at it as a whole. So as the student, it's not just test scores or just essays or just teacher recommendation or just transcript. We look at all those pieces to determine a student's eligibility and readiness. They're supposed to have completed Algebra 2 successfully and well to have a good foundation for Math 176 if that's the course you're specifically interested in. So they could definitely still be considered, and we could connect, have supplemental information at that point on what maybe the student struggled with to determine if they're still eligible and ready. Is there an online testing option for PSAT or SAT? I know that the Davidson Institute, we have information linked on in Think and within different areas of our website because we are hosting a practice SAT a couple different dates this spring. I'm not sure. I think it might already be full for the most recent one that's coming up. That is hosted online. But otherwise, you can visit College Board's website to access testing for PSAT and SAT. Okay, last one. We are planning to take online algebra class to place it out during the summer. Would this work? No. So if you're interested in Algebra 2, or excuse me, if you're interested in Math 176 course, you need to have completed Algebra 2, not just Algebra 1, Algebra 2 prior to June to be eligible for that class. You cannot take it in conjunction at the same time. You need to have completed it. It's an important foundation for the, yes, Algebra 2. It's an important foundation to have completed going into that class. And so that's Dr. Darren Ripley's, it's a really high need prerequisite requirement. And he, students who do not have that foundation typically do not do well at Math 176. So that's a really important requirement for that course. Okay, I think that's all we have time for today. I want to go ahead and wrap up. If we didn't get to your question, please email us and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Again, the application is open, so feel free to head over there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kayla, for this presentation, for answering our audience questions. Before we close out this session, is there any other closing statements you might have for?
No, yeah, thank you, Jessica. Thanks everyone for joining me. And like I said, the application's open, and shoot us an email if you have any further questions.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, just a reminder, everyone, please complete that survey after the session closes. And then if you'd like to view the session again, we will have the recording on our Davidson Gifted website, and you can also view it on our Davidson Institute YouTube channel. That will be updated within the next week. So thank you again, Kayla, and have a wonderful day, everyone.